Hello my dear friends, I am Soham Jagad. Welcome you all in science class. In today's lecture, we are going to start our new chapter from chemistry part, that is matter in our surroundings. Chapter number 1. Chapter number 1 from chemistry part also, that is matter in our surroundings. We heard word matter sometime, but we use this word matter in different manner in science. We will see how we use word matter, and we are familiar with word surrounding. Surrounding is nothing but the everything that around us, that is our surrounding. So let's quickly start the chapter. As we look at our surroundings, we see a large variety of things with different shapes, size and textures. We can see many things around us. For example, I can see this computer, table, lots of other electrical gadgets, books, cupboards, etc. Everything in this universe is made up of material. Scientists have named it matter. We know that everything around us made up of some material. Some of the material we know is plastic material, steel material, liquid material, gaseous material. So everything around us made up of some material, and scientists have named this as matter. So here we have definition for matter. Everything in this universe is made up of material which scientists have named matter. So matter is nothing but the fundamental part of everything. It may be different form for different object. What is the example of matter? The air we breathe, the food we eat, stone, clouds, stars, planet, animal, even a drop of water or a particle of sand, each thing is matter. So everything around us, air, stars, satellite, food, everything is matter. We can also see as we look around that all the things mentioned above occupy space. Here we have to notice that all things we observed are occupy space. What is meaning of occupying space? For example, if we have one bus, in that bus suppose we have 50 seats, and we have 10 people to sit in this bus. So now we have 40 empty seats, and we can say that this 10 people occupy space. Right now I am sitting on this chair, so I can say that I occupy space. Now no one can sit on this chair because I occupy space of this chair. So I hope now you understand what is occupying space. Suppose this is the plane of my hand. This is the plane of my hand. At this time, there is no thing on my hand. There is obviously air around us, but we are neglecting air at this time. Now, I put this pen on my hand. So you can see that this pen occupy some area, some volume, which means this pen occupy space. So now area of my hand, or I can say useful area of my hand, is reduced because now this pen is on my hand and this pen occupy space. So every matter occupy space, that is volume and have mass. So we have another definition of volume. Everything around us occupy space, and this occupied space we called it as volume. Volume of any substance or object. And have mass. Everything has mass. It may be less mass, it may be more mass, but everything around us has mass. Air has mass, gases has mass. So everything around us has mass and occupy space. Here we have one star, so we can see below what is the note for this star. This asterisk mark, we have note the SI unit of volume is cubic meter. I hope now you are familiar with the term volume, and the unit of volume is meter cube. How? Let's take one example. Let's say we have cube. Let's say we have cube. And the volume of cube, the formula for volume of cube is side into side into side. So the length of side we measure in meter in SI unit. So we have meter into meter into meter. Meter into meter into meter, that is meter cube. So we have SI unit of volume, that is meter cube. The common unit of measuring volume is liter. We also measure volume in liter. We say 1 liter of milk, 5 liter of petrol, 100 liter of diesel. So this is another unit of measuring volume. Generally we use unit liter instead of meter cube. 1 liter is equal to 1 decimeter cube. We have to remember all this conversion from liter to meter cube. 1 liter is equal to 1 decimeter cube. 1 liter is equal to 1000 ml. 1 ml is equal to 1 centimeter cube. We are much familiar with this unit. 1 liter is equal to 1000 milliliter. We know that the milk pouch, that is of 500 ml, we called it as half liter. So half liter is 500 ml. So 1 liter will be 1000 ml. So you can remember 1 liter is equal to 1000 ml. 1 milliliter is equal to 1 centimeter cube. What is 1 centimeter cube? Let's say we have one cube with its size 1 centimeter. each. If we have cube that has all side 1 centimeter and we fill this cube with water or any liquid, the quantity of liquid contained by this small cube will be 1 milliliter. So the 1 milliliter is a quantity filled by cube of 1 centimeter cube. I hope you can understand what is relation between ml and centimeter cube. So you can remember 1 milliliter is equal to 1 centimeter cube. Let's see it by figure so we can understand it properly. Let's say we have one cube. So here we have one cube and sides of this cube is 1 centimeter, which means this all these lengths are 1 centimeter. If all these lengths are 1 centimeter, we can say that volume of this cube is 1 centimeter cube, because the formula for volume of cube is side cube, that is side into side into side. Let's say we have side called L. So volume of cube V is equal to L into L into L. So we have 1 into 1 into 1, that is 1, and centimeter into centimeter into centimeter, that is centimeter cube. Now let's say we fill this with water. We fill this cube with water. So the quantity of water in this cube is 1 ml, 1 milliliter, and we know that 1 liter is equal to 1000 milliliter. 1 liter is equal to 1000 milliliter. So I hope now you understood what is the conversion of volume, two different units of volume, that is liter and meter cube and milliliter and centimeter cube. Similarly, we have relation for liter and meter cube, that is 1 meter cube is equal to 1000 liter. 1 meter cube is equal to 1000 liter, which means if you have one cubical tank with length 1 meter, 1 meter length, 1 meter breadth, 1 meter height, it is cube. So all sides are same, and this length of this side is 1 meter. So we can say that volume of this cube is 1 meter cube. 1 meter cube. Now if we fill this cube with full water, with water or any liquid, the volume of that liquid will be 1000 liter. So we can say that 1 meter cube is equal to 1000 liter. These both are very important relation. We should remember 1 liter is equal to 1000 milliliter and 1 meter cube is equal to 1000 liter, because you will use this relation in some of your chapters in mathematics also. So we understood this basic relation for interrelation for volume. Since early time, human beings have been trying to understand their surrounding. From early time, thousands of years ago also, we are trying to understand our surrounding. Early Indian philosophers classified matter in form of 5 basic elements, and we called it as Panch Tattva. What is that Panch Tattva? 5 elements: air, earth, fire, sky and water. We divide basic element as air, earth, fire, sky and water in ancient time. According to them, everything living or non-living was made up of these 5 basic elements. And according to them, ancient philosophers, all things around us, it may be living thing, it may be non-living thing, but ultimately it is made up of these 5 basic elements. Ancient Greek philosophers had arrived at a similar classification of matter, and ancient Greek philosopher also arrived at same conclusion that all living and non-living things made up of some basic material. Modern day scientists have evolved 2 types of classification of matter based on their physical properties and chemical properties. And with modern research in science, we have evolved with basic 2 types of classification of matter based on their physical property and their chemical nature. In your previous standards, say standard 7th and 8th, you have learned about what is physical change, what is chemical change, what is physical property, what is chemical property. So in this chapter, we will learn about physical property of substance. Chemical aspect of matter will be taken up in subsequent chapters, and we will learn in for chemical aspects in later chapter. In this chapter, we learn about physical properties of matter and objects. Now we have first topic number 1.1, that is physical nature of matter. Physical nature of matter. In that we have first topic, matter is made up of particles. Matter is made up of particles. To understand anything, any object, any organization, any country, anything, First of all, we have to understand that what is the basic structure of that particular thing from which it is made up of. If we want to analyze anything, we have to understand that from which basic substance it has formed. So here we can see that matter is made up of particles. Now I would like to say one thing. How we can say that matter is made up of particles, or how anyone can come to this conclusion matter is made up of particle, or any conclusion in science. So what will happen? One fine day when one man is sleeping, God came to his dream and called him secret formula, and from there he knows that matter is made up of particle. Is there any kind of thing? No. Nobody came to us to call that matter is made up of particles. There is a gravitational force. Nobody going to tell us. What will happen? We have to observe things. We have to experiment. We have to conclude experiment. We have to derive relation between some different quantities. Then and only then we can understand everything around us. So by experiment we derived all this relation, all this conclusion. Let's see what is in the point matter is made up of particles. For a long time, two schools of thought prevailed regarding the nature of matter. There are two types of thinking, that matter is made up of this or made up of this. There is a two different thoughts. What are the two different thoughts? One school believed matter to be continuous like block of wood. One part of people believe that matter is continuous like block of wood, whereas other thought that matter was made up of particle like sand, and whereas another portion of people believe that matter is made up of small particles like sand. Let us perform an activity to decide about the nature of matter. Is it continuous or particulate? Let's do one activity to define whether it is continuous or matter is particulate. Take 100 ml beaker. Fill half the beaker with water and mark the level of water. Now dissolve salt or sugar in this water filled beaker and stir it with glass rod. Observe any change in water level. Is there any change in water level? By experiment we can say that there is a no change in water level. We add one thing to another thing, yet we don't find any change in level of water. What do you think has happened to the salt? What has happened to salt? Salt dissolved in water. Salt dissolved in water. We say that salt is mixed with the water, so that is dissolved in water. We will study this dissolve and dilution in depth in this standard also. Where does it appear? Here we can see in figure the water particles in beaker. These water particles are, for our understanding, we have drawn it much larger scale, magnified millions of times. What we cannot see more water particle by our naked eye, but for understanding, we draw these particles here. So here we have water particles. These water particles, you can see there is a space between water particles. Now we add salt in this water and stir it. What will happen? Initially we can see this salt at base of this beaker, but as we stir it, what will happen? You can see here these salt particles are arranged between water particles. These salt particles are arranged between water particles. So we can say that salt particles only can arrange salt particles arrange in water particles only when it has some space between them. Obviously, suppose we have one long bench and two people are sitting one end and another end of that bench. Third student can sit between these two students only when there is space between these two students. I hope you can understand. There is space between these two students. So we can say that salt can arrange in between this salt water particles only when it has some space between them, and it can dissolve in it because it has in form of particles. So now we can see that there is a water particle, salt dissolve in this water, and salt get arranged in particles of water, in between particles of water. So in this lecture we have seen what is idea of matter, physical nature of matter, and the first nature of matter, that is matter made up of particles. Matter made up of small particles.